Portugal, Varna anew. Friends and comrades, we're gathered here today for the 91st anniversary of the brutal murder of the mighty Griffin by British Crown forces in 1920. I'd like to call on Brendan Madden, veteran Galway Republican, to lay read on behalf of the Republican movement. Now, we'll please stand for a moment's silence. I now call on Sean McAnumra from the Father Griffin coming here in Galway to say a decade of the Rosary. On our speaker today, a man who flew the Republican flag in Dublin during the recent unwanted visit by the leader of the head of the Crown forces, which was forced on the Irish people. Republican Sinn Féin, our Corla member Douglas McDouglas, Paul Arclia.
Harde, avond down met een shock. De veldtocht kan je uit allemaal goed bezig. Dat blijft al in. Dan ben je nu komen nou hoort aan haar die half weten. Maar doen we hier een techniek. Kelskar is clean jake of in. You know, fresh jacht, see shop clean dish. Friends and comrades, it's a huge pleasure for me to be here. Pay my respect to Antara Weber, who was murdered by the forces of the British Crown 91 years ago today. The body was found on this spot. He himself was not a member of the Republican movement, but he was known to be sympathetic to Republicans. Indeed, in September 1920, Antara Weber gave the last rites to Seamus Quirk, a member of the URA who was shot 7 times down at the docks in Galway. In the same year, Tomas McCurtain was murdered in his home by the RIC. Terence McSweeney died at hunger strike at Brixton Prison after being arrested in Cork City Hall. A few days before Antara Weber was murdered, Kevin Barry, just a lad of 18 years, was hung in Dublin. Despite the obvious dangers and threats to anyone who stood against the British Empire, Antara Weber bravely stood to the oppressed people of Ireland and encouraged them to stand up for themselves against the imperial might of the British Empire. Many people will tell us that the Ireland of 2011 is totally different from that of the 1920s, but sadly this is not true. The 6 northeastern counties of Ireland are still under control of the British. Houses are still being raided on spurious grounds, and people are being arrested and remanded just for speaking out against this occupation. In the past few weeks, members of the RUC, the SNI, stopped and harassed members of the GAA from Fermanagh who were returning by bus from a match. This the same RUC, the SNI, who will be playing in Páirc Uí Chaoimh against the 26 county police forces next Friday. In the past year, the RUC, the SNI have arrested and charged both on Tuachtaran, others on Last Tuachtaran, Sinn Féin Pota, for partaking in Easter commemorations and in the Martin Corey protest in the occupied 6 counties. In the 26 counties, 2 members of Republican Sinn Féin, along with many others, were arrested for opposing the visit of the Queen of England. Millions were spent on this unwanted visit at a time when ordinary people are deciding whether to buy food, pay their household bills, or indeed pay their mortgages. Sovereignty in the 26 counties has been sold out to Europe because of the many years that what we call public representatives have squandered what rights we have. These people for many years have paid themselves vast wages and pretended to have our best interests at heart, while slowly selling off the assets of the country. This slow sale has now become a fire sale, where whatever is left of the family silver will be sold to the highest bidder. already given away our oil and gas deposits off the Mayo coast. They will now sell our national airlines, our pilots, our ESD, and anything else that is worth a few bob. To the people of the Shell the Sea campaign, I salute you. You're an inspiration to all the Irish people. We ourselves must get involved in protecting what is belonging to us before it is either sold or given away. It is no use to say, I don't cut turf. Why should I care about forests when I have no trees? We must now organise nationally and collectively to resist these sell-offs and giveaways. As if to prove how little input we have in running our own country, this week we saw the spectacle of ministers in Leinster House saying there will be no VAT increase. Well, at the very same time in the German Bundestag they were talking about the 2% increase that will happen with the Irish tax. This begs the question, who is running the 26 councils? Over the years we have seen many splits in the Republican movement, from the 20s to the 70s, 1986, and as recently as 2009, when after the retirement of Roddy O'Grady, Des Dalton was decisively elected as Ulster Sinn Féin Politics. The egos of some of those who disagreed with this decision led them to leave the Republican movement. But rather than being honest and admitting that they left Republican Sinn Féin and the Republican movement, they are now attempting to hijack the name of our organisation. The same people who tried to wreck our movement from within are now trying to wreck it from the outside. Macarja, these people will not succeed. Furthermore, they have cast aspersions on Roddy O'Grady's character. This man not only has respect of all true Republicans, but he also has the grudging respect of enemies of Republicanism, whether here in the 6 counties or further afield. Let me take this opportunity to reiterate, we are Sinn Féin Politics. South Dalton is Ulster Sinn Féin Politics, with Roddy O'Grady as our patron. Today I call on those using the name Republican Sinn Féin to desist, and from this platform here I tell all the people Republican Sinn Féin is not now and never has been involved in gangsterism of any sort. We are a movement of the people, we need the support of the people, and as such we would never ever involve ourselves in such activities. This year sees the 30th anniversary of South Irish Digital Science. This was a hunger strike when 10 brave men gave their lives and many others ruined their health in the struggle for political status. They were eventually successful in gaining this political status, but sadly, since then it was sold out by the provisionals for personal and political gain. We now once again have a spectrum of men in 6 counties, enduring harsh conditions, strip searches, lack of food, lack of visits from their wives, their solicitors, etc. They live in filthy, maggot-infested cells on these 23, 24-hour lockups. I call on everybody to get involved in the movement to have an agreement that was agreed in August 2010. This should be implemented and implemented now. Leis mo chud caint ach éireann rinne gigajour Elizabeth Wales and while Ireland holds these rails, Ireland at peace, Ireland unfree shall never be at peace. And I'll call on the piper to play the national anthem. If you all please stand for it.
for coming here today, but I'd like you to remember those Republicans who cannot be here with us today, and especially Michael Ryan, that recently was deceased. And members, we have members here from Galway who are unable to attend due to ill health, and especially Rory O'Brady, who usually attends this event as well, and we'd like you to remember them in their thoughts and wish them speedy recovery. Cormila Mahabat.